Right, we'll get started today. Thank you for joining the weekly mindfulness meditation session. And this week we're going to continue with some of the Strozzi Institute mindfulness practices. But before we get to that, I wanted each of us to take a moment to thank ourselves for taking this time for self-reflection and care. I know the day is busy and packed. So if you can, genuinely thank yourself for taking time out today to be here. Please do so. If you can't genuinely do that, just notice those sensations or feelings in the body. And then we're going to start as we usually do with a grounding practice, and this is to help us come into the present moment, being here, letting go of what happened previously, trying to not project too much into the future, what's happening after today. So the grounding practice, we'll do the same one we've been doing. Putting the right hand on the forehead and the left hand on the back where the neck meets the skull. These activate points in the body to help calm the central nervous system. Breathing into the body. Maybe noticing your heartbeat. Maybe it's beating quicker than normal as you were trying to get here. Maybe you can feel the breath starting to slow down, or your inhalation is changing a little bit even just from this grounding practice, and seeing if you can, I know I have a tendency to hold tightly, seeing if you can just relax into the elbows and the arms and have a light touch on the body. Okay, and letting go of that. And as I mentioned, we're continuing with Amanda Blake from Strozzi Institute. She had shared some embodiment practices, and I first learned of the Strozzi Institute in 2018 at a Wisdom 2.0 conference here in San Francisco, which happens each year. And it's set up for those that are interested living mindfully with greater wisdom and purpose and meaning while using technology. So that's part of the additional part of the Wisdom 2.0 with technology. So I lead these sessions utilizing Zoom and Facebook Live. So it's my way of using the current technology for health and well-being. So back to the Strozzi Institute. They are at a lot of mindfulness conferences, and with good reason, because they understand that embodiment is the key to health and happiness. So I'm not sure if any of you have heard this before, but researchers say that it takes 300 repetitions for something to become body memory, meaning we can do the correct movement technique or conversation by memory. But it's also pointed out that we need 3,000 repetitions to embody something, to embody that practice with not having to think about it. It becomes part of who we are. So maybe folks are understanding why new habits are hard to create. So 300 for body memory and 3,000 repetitions for embodiment. And the Strozzi Institute's very focused on that. So last week we got present in the body by looking at temperature, pressure, and movement. And maybe some of you were practicing that over the past week and journaled about your experiences. It's not necessary. These practices, we'll be doing that again today and adding on centering. So don't worry if you weren't here last week or weren't doing that. We'll have a chance to practice that today. So let's come into the body, and if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes or have a soft gaze in front. And we're going to start with maybe inviting the body to relax from head to toe. And there's no need to watch me, no need to look at the camera. Just listen to my voice. You can set the phone down off to the side or the computer. And keying into the voice. And think about relaxing the eyes. If the eyes aren't relaxed, the optic nerve can communicate to the brain and throughout the central nervous system. So the whole body can hold tension from the eyes holding tension. And see if we can relax the jaw, maybe wiggling the jaw, opening and closing it, maybe clenching a little and letting go, giving the body an idea of what a relaxed position of the jaw may be. Maybe lift the shoulders up on an inhalation and drop them on an exhalation. Maybe we'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, lift the shoulders up, and drop them. One more time. And maybe see if you can breathe a little deeper. I don't want you forcing your breath, but we tend to breathe shallow into our upper chest. And breathing down lower and into the belly can help calm the central nervous system. It can also lower the center of gravity in the body towards the feet and the earth, which can help us move in our life differently. Now, softening the abdomen and the belly. Our society can focus on looks, so people may be sucking in their stomach all day long, and it's hard to breathe into your belly if you're holding it in all day long. So see if we can let go of the belly and be okay with our belly position as it is. Now maybe tensing the muscles of the thighs and letting them go. Tensing the muscles in the calves and letting them go. Maybe crinkling the toes up, curling them up, and letting them go. Maybe we notice the body is slowing down a little, or maybe there's not as much tension in the body. And again, maybe that there isn't any difference, and that's fine too. So we'll start by being present in the body and looking at the different elements, starting with temperature. Do we notice any areas that are warm or cold? Maybe a part of the body is hot, maybe it's perspiration and we're sweating. Maybe there's certain areas that are neutral. Just sensing into the body for a little bit, seeing what we notice with temperature. If we're not noticing anything, seeing if we're okay with that, not getting frustrated, thinking we're not doing it right. Being okay with what's available for us to sense in relation to temperature. Now moving into letting go of temperature, moving into pressure. What are we noticing in the body pressure-wise? Do we notice airiness or lightness, heaviness, constriction, maybe tension? Seeing if we can sense any of those pressure differences in the body. If our mind wanders off into something that happened previous to being here, or if the mind's getting carried away to something that might be happening in the future, Trying to be okay with that, and when we notice, identifying where did we go. And then gently coming back to the sound of my voice and the instruction. And letting go of pressure, and now bringing the awareness and attention to movement. What are we noticing in the body in relation to movement? Maybe we're actually physically moving because our position wasn't suiting us well. Maybe there's some throbbing or tingling. Maybe we're noticing the movement of the breath, the ribs and the lungs expanding and contracting. Maybe we can feel the heartbeat. Maybe digestion, maybe we just had lunch. Or maybe we haven't had lunch yet and the belly's grumbling. Seeing what movement is present. And letting go of movement, and now just identifying if there's a present mood or feeling, emotion in the body. Maybe we haven't done this before, we're anxious, maybe we're self-critical, maybe this is feeling nice. Feel relaxed. What's the mood? Now we're going to transition into the centering part of the practice. And the Strozzi Institute likes people to stand for the centering practice. I'm going to stay seated for the camera, but those of you practicing, if your body allows and you can stand up, please do so now. But also if your body doesn't and you think it would serve you best to do this practice seated, please allow yourself that. Don't feel like you have to stand because I said that. Always keeping your body in mind and you in mind and doing what's best for you. Now, when we're standing, I'm going to suggest, there's yoga instructors and others that say if you put your two fists together and then put them down between your feet, that's a good reflection of hips width distance apart. So generally you wouldn't be closer than that. You may be a little bit wider. But again, everyone's body's different. So we want proper body positioning when we're standing. So we're aligning our knees over our ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips. This may be uncomfortable for some. Maybe we're not used to standing and using our bones. Maybe we use our muscles more. I know I tend to stand more on my right foot because I have a left back injury, or I may be forward. So I'm using my muscles when I'm doing that, not my bones. So again, if this feels a little odd to you, that's okay. But if you're, in more discomfort than your body not used to being there, please adjust yourself appropriately. And we want to be in our full length, sensing from our head to our feet. Can you sense the length of your body? Are your knees soft? Are they locked? Sensing the ground beneath you and the sky above you. Bring that presence into your length, the length of your body. Up to the sky, and down to the center of the earth. Maybe visualizing that as having you stand up more straightly and more erect. Being present in your length and your dignity. And we'll let go of that length, and now we'll align with the width. Side to side, right to left. And maybe even rocking back and forth on the feet or the sits bones if you're sitting, right to left. And see if you can find a center spot where you feel that you're evenly weighted right to left on your feet or your sits bones. And bringing attention into our width, sides of the body, from head to toe, the ears, the shoulders, the sides of the torso, the sides of the hips, sides of the thighs, lower legs, and sides of the feet. Sensing in to our width. Can you tell where your skin ends and the rest of the world begins? If you can't, that's okay. Don't force anything. It also may be easier to notice the skin where there's no clothing, where the skin is free, like maybe the neck or the face, the hands. And allow yourself to be okay with the space you're taking up. I belong here. Being present in your with your social self, how you are in relationship with the world. And letting go of width, and now entering into aligning yourself in depth, front to back. Maybe move a little bit forward into the toes or the front of your sits bone and back into the heels. And maybe do this a couple times, seeing if you can find a center spot where you're evenly weighted front to back. Centering in your depth, not leaning away from the world or towards the world. Being in the center in the present moment. Bringing attention to the back body. Maybe this area is harder to sense into. Sometimes the back body can be in comparison to the front body. But also people may have back issues, so the back body may be more alive for us to notice depending on our individual situations. Again, trying not to judge the body for that or you for that. Being able to be accepting of what is present here at this moment. So bringing attention to the back of the head, the back of the neck, the shoulder blades, the spine, down the back, mid-back, and lower back. And the buttocks, the back of the thighs, back of the calves, and the Achilles tendon and the heel. And now shifting to the internal part of the body, the brain. Maybe we can sense the brain, the throat, the windpipe inside the body, the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the intestines, the organs inside the body. And now coming to the front of the body, feeling the face, the front of the neck, the chest, the belly, the quads, the shins, and the top of the feet. Being present in your depth, from front to back. Your depth can be your past and your present, your wisdom. Now taking a few more breaths here, letting go of the centering practice, letting go of the depth that we were just doing. And sensing into the body for a couple breaths, maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes, opening the eyes if they were closed. Excuse me. So that's our practice today. I wanted to remind you about the 300 repetitions produce body memory, and the 3,000 produce embodiment. So maybe consider repeating what we did today throughout the day, throughout the week. And as I mentioned last week, maybe you want to journal or take notes on what you're noticing in the body. You don't have to at all, but some of us maybe want to. So being present in the body, noticing the temperature, pressure, and movement, and then the centering practice, noticing your length, width, and depth in the body. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the practice, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks.